Thirdly, do I assemble with the saints regularly? Or am I spasmodic? Am I here one Sunday and gone the next Sunday? Or here one Wednesday night and gone the next Wednesday night? Or maybe not assembling at all? I know you'd say you can't preach to someone who is not here, and that's obviously the truth. But for us that are here, as you look at your life for this past year, how do you feel? Do you feel good about the frequency that you've been assembling together? You know, the Bible still says in Hebrews 10:24 and 25, first he says, let us consider one another to provoke unto love and to good works. How important that is. That's the purpose of the assembly, part of it. To encourage each other, provoke one another to love more and to engage in good works. Then he says, not the forsaking of the assembling of yourselves together as the manner of some is, but so much the more as you see the day approaching. Have you been forsaking the assembly? Let me make a guarantee. You will never grow spiritually if your attendance is spasmodic, unless you're sick and cannot come. Can I say that again? You simply will not grow spiritually if your attendance in worship and Bible study is spasmodic. And might I say in Bible study, you know, we study the Bible every Sunday morning. We study it Wednesday night. What an excellent opportunity to grow in knowledge of the Scripture. I remember when I was first baptized, I hate to admit it, but I somehow didn't want to go on Wednesday nights. And I missed for 2 or 3 months. I didn't go. And then because of the prompting from fellow Christians, I began to go. And I realized how much I was missing, how much I could learn. What an encouragement to go deeper and deeper into Scriptures. Please, think about it. Sunday morning assembling, always. Bible study before the worship service. Think about being present. Wednesday night Bible study and Sunday nights, if you can. I know some of you live distances, and we understand that. But we're having great Sunday night services. I just look forward to them so much. Filling that empty void that wasn't there, or that was there. And it's just a marvelous time. Oh, what wonderful things we're missing if we're not being in Bible study and worship on a regular basis. Am I making a sincere effort to reach the lost souls? Now, I know that this is difficult to reach people that are outside of Christ, to talk to them on a one-to-one basis and have that personal study with them and personal talk. I know it's not easy, but we must do it. We must try to reach all the souls that we possibly can. I hope you feel as I, Lord, give me a little bit more time so that I can save somebody else before my life is gone. Just a little longer, please, Jesus. You remember that song? In 2 Timothy 2:2, Paul writing to Titus, an evangelist, he said, "And the things which thou hast heard of me among many witnesses, the same commit thou to faithful men, who shall be able to teach others also." See what he's saying? He said, Paul, the things that I'm teaching you, you teach to faithful men, and men here is the generic, it's faithful people, who shall be able to teach others also. So that shows that those whom are taught are to in turn teach others. And then I've often thought of this verse in John 15, verses 1 and 2, where Jesus said, "I am the true vine, and my Father is the husbandman." And here's a sobering verse. "Every branch in me that beareth not fruit, he takes away. And every branch that bears fruit, he purges it, that it may bring forth more fruit." That says to me that God intends for a tree to produce fruit. And if it doesn't produce fruit, then it's not profitable. And surely there's some transference of this understanding over to the concept that we are Christians. We're to produce fruit, and I know surely some of that fruit is fellow Christians. So I want to challenge you. You say, "I don't know how to do it." Well, if you'll come to me, I'll share what little I know about it with you, and I'll spend time with you, and I'll spend weeks and days and weeks and months with you. if that'll help you, and share what little I know about it, so that you will be confident and say, I now believe I can study with someone. Or if we'd like to have a class on it, I'll meet any night of the week or whenever and share with you what little I know about it, so that we can win more souls. That's what it's all about. We've had 7 precious souls saved this year, but wouldn't it be good if it was 27 or 70? I know a congregation in Manchester, Tennessee, where they're baptizing close to 100 a year. Attendance about 350 about a year ago when the preacher started there. Baptized almost 100 people. Wouldn't that be great if we could do even somewhere close to that? Think about it. What are we doing to win souls? Here's something to look at our attitude. Am I negative? Am I one who complains? Do I grumble? Do I often see faults? Do I talk about negative things and think about negative things? Or am I positive and just refuse to complain and grumble about things in life? You know, it's kind of what you decide to do. It's just as easy to be complimentary and point out the good things and think upon good things as it is to think upon the bad and grumbling about life. Elijah spoke on this last Sunday night, did a great job on the lesson. It was the expository sermon. And he dealt with this very thought. Do all things without murmurings and disputings. Why? Paul says that you may be blameless and harmless, the sons of God, without rebuke in the midst of a crooked and perverse nation, among whom you shine as lights in the world. So, Paul, what do you want me to do? I want you to do everything without murmuring and without disputings. Hard to do? Paul said, I want you to do it. And here's why. Because you need to be blameless, you need to be harmless, you need to be sons of God, without rebuke, in this midst of a crooked and perverse nation. And it surely is wicked and crooked, folks. This world is. I'm seeing it more and more all the time. But we're the lights in it. And I shudder to think that the world hears you and me as God's people being negative and complaining and grumbling and finding fault. Why not just make it a resolve? I will cease finding fault. I will look for the good in this coming year. I will not continue to complain. I'm going to be a positive person, and I'm going to change my life if you're finding that you need to. Well, you think about that very, very seriously. Then do I gossip or speak evil and unkindly of people? Here again, we can get in the habit of that and be so negative and find some fault with people. Which people do you like being around better? Those who are always finding fault in other people and gossiping about them? Or you like to be with those people that are always finding good things? You know, the poem says, I know something good about you. Proverbs 18:7 says that a fool's mouth is his destruction, and his lips are the snare of his soul. And if we gossip and speak unkindly of people, folks, our lips really are the snare of our soul. 1 Peter 3:10, he that would love life and see good days, let him refrain his tongue from evil, and let his lips that they speak no guile. Watch that. If you want to love life, if you want to see good days, he says, then watch your tongue, that it speaks no evil, and your lips that they speak no guile. No guile is found in them. Then in Leviticus 19 and verse 16, thou shalt not go up and down as a talebearer among thy people. That was an Old Testament concept. Then you remember in Proverbs 31, that description of that worthy woman, that virtuous woman. I like the way it's phrased. In her tongue is the law of kindness. I want to ask you, is anybody here does not appreciate kindness? We all like kind people, don't we? I just heard someone this morning telling about when you take gifts back to the store, if you have to return something. He says if you don't have a receipt and you will approach that person with kindness, he says, you know, they'll work with you and they'll probably make an exchange for you. But he said if you go in there and you're ugly and you're abrupt and you're unkind, he says they will just say forget it. Even just makes life a lot richer, doesn't it?